John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This is Grand Prix Vegas weekend, so for everyone who made it out there, I hope you're having a good time. For everyone who didn't, like myself, hopefully you'll get to watch a little bit of it on stream. I have, and it seems like a really great event. Kind of wish I could have made it, but you know, what can you do, right? Life happens. So, alright. Quickly before we get started with the Market Watch, fast reminder as always, if you check out the description below, you'll find a couple ways to help support us, one of which is the Amazon affiliate store. If you make any purchases via any of those links, a small percentage will come back to help support the channel, or else you can check out our Patreon page, another way to help us out. You'll find that below too. With that out of the way, let's get into the Market Watch. There's a lot to talk about today, and we'll start off, as we always do, with Standard and the cards that lost value this week. Standard, we're seeing another week that's pretty stagnant. Of course, we are going to see some changes here due to the banning of Aetherworks Marvel, which happened a few days ago, as you could imagine. But other than that, the market is still just kind of waiting, because next week the ban goes into effect. Shortly after that, we'll have Hour of Devastation entering the format, so players are just kind of waiting right now before they make any big purchases. Coming in number 5, Liliana Death's Majesty. Down 49 cents to $11.92. She's seen a little bit of fringe play, but she really just hasn't found that foothold, so she continues to drop this week. Coming in number 4, Torrential Gearhulk. Down 79 cents to $22.02. This card's basically the opposite. Boy, has this card found a foothold time and time again in Standard, and I think it will until it's out of Standard, quite honestly. Now, there's a lot of copies out there that keeps the price manageable around right now the $22 mark. I think this will continue to slide, even though it's going to continue to see a lot of play. Yes, this was part of many of the Marvel decks, but it's got a lot of other homes. Don't worry about this card. It's not going to crash or anything. Coming in number 3, Liliana the Last Hope, down 86 cents to $33.24. Liliana is an interesting card in the Standard environment. She's one of the more expensive cards out there, and that is mostly because of the set she's from, Eldritch Moon. Less packs of this set were open than most other packs in Standard right now. There were no Masterpiece Series cards in that set, and also it was part of the summer of sets, I like to call it. We got a set every month for 4 months, and there was premium sets in there. It got crazy, right? So a lot of people just passed up Eldritch Moon or didn't buy as much of it as they typically do. And the result is you have cards like this one. She holds her value very well. She's down a tad bit this week, and that's most likely due to the fact that there's less zombie decks, at least currently in the field, although we don't know what the next couple weeks will hold. But she's not going to bottom out. She is a very desirable card, seeing play in a lot of different places, and she might tick down a little bit from this point, but she could easily stay in the $25, $30 mark, probably for her entire lifespan, at least in Standard. Coming at number 2 is Aetherworks Marvel, down 91 cents to $6.54. So I was always surprised this card wasn't a little bit higher, just because of all the hype behind it, but it has gone down a little bit. It's not going to bottom out because it does still see play in Commander. It's still a really good card. There's people trying to brew with it in other formats too. So the card isn't going to completely lose its value, but I could see it going down to maybe $5, $6 pretty consistently. And coming in at number 1, maybe the card that was hurt most by the banning, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, down $4.30 to $21. So there was just a lot of hype, of course, around Marvel decks. This was one of the key cards, and one of the cards that looked the, I don't know, flashiest on camera too. So even though there's a ton of copies of Ulamog out there, this card was able to sustain around the $24 mark for a while. Well, I think those days are kind of over. This will keep coming down a little bit, but this card will not completely crash. It sees Legacy play, it sees Modern play. Maybe it goes down to around $15, $16 for a while, but again, don't count Ulamog out. Alright, let's move into the cards that have gained value this week in yet another week of really, really conservative gains. Coming in at number 5, Grim Flyer, up 25 cents to $15.44. Now here's a card that, yes, does see some play, of course, in the world of Standard. However, the reason for this small bump, more than likely this week, is Modern. This card is seeing play in Death Shadow decks, and you know what? Nothing helps your value as a card more than being in some Death Shadow deck lists. And that deck is just very popular right now, just overall. Also another Eldritch Moon Mythic, so do make a note of that. Coming in number 4, Collective Brutality, up 27 cents to $9.80. Another card that, yes, does see Standard play, but again, I think the focus on this card more so is Modern, again, Death Shadow decks, as well as other ones like to use this card. Coming in number 3, Ronos, the Indomitable, up 44 cents to $12.49. I think Ronos is going to stabilize nicely and probably start to climb a little bit, at least for the foreseeable future. He has found a place in Standard. As a matter of fact, Energy decks and some other decks are using this card to some success. Not to mention the fact that Company Counters in Modern is also running the card. Coming in number 2, Barolo, Chief of Compliance, up 53 cents to $3.79. Another card that's getting a bump, again, because of Modern more so than Standard. This card shows up in the Gifts Storm decks. And coming in number 1, Chandra, Torch of Defiance, up $1.55 to $22.52 this week. Now, some folks may have thought that she would stabilize due to the fact that she is in Marvel decks, but she's in a whole lot of other places too. I mean, she's showing up like Titan Shift decks in Modern, she's in Energy decks, she's in Vehicles decks, both of those in Standard, of course. So she's still seeing a lot of play. Don't worry about her. There's a lot of copies of her out there, so I don't see her going beyond, I don't know, maybe $25 or anything like that in the immediate future, but she's still a very hot card right now. Alright, let's move on to the Modern cards. I feel like we've already done the Modern Market Watch, but let's keep going with cards that lost value in Modern this week. Coming in at number 5 is Dark Confidant. This is from the first Modern Masters, down 74 cents to $45. Now, this card's been ticking down a little bit every week, but that's not the full story, as you're going to see in a few moments. The card's interesting because it was seeing a ton of play all over the place in Modern for a while. Jund decks started to become a little bit less of the field, and you saw this card start to tick down, and 74 cents really is a pretty insignificant downtick. But recently, other decks are picking up this card. I mean, it sees playing Abzan, it sees playing Eldrazi and Taxes, so don't count Dark Confidant yet, and there's more to the story, as you'll see in a few moments. Coming in number 4, Seshiro the Anointed, down 89 cents to $9. Now, a few weeks back, this card was really hot, and it spiked due to the fact that Amonkhet had snakes, and Commander players were trying to assemble some snake decks. The card actually rode the spike pretty well. It's down a little bit this week, but it's still much higher than it was originally. Coming in number 3, Thoughtseize from Lorwyn, down 93 cents to $34.90. This card just recently spiked pretty hard over the last couple weeks, so it's just stabilizing a little. Coming in number 2, Scalding Tarn from Zendikar, down 99 cents to $61.43. Again, not really much of a change for a card that's over the $60 price point. Coming in number 1 is Aethersworn Canonist. This is a card that spiked over the last couple weeks, mostly due to Legacy play, not really Modern play, but it is down this week. Shards of Allura version down $2.33 to $13.20, with Modern Masters down $2.73 to $13.12. Now, we kind of expected the snapback, of course. It had a pretty nice spike over the last couple weeks. However, card was in some pretty significant decks in the Legacy event of the GP this weekend, so that will probably, if nothing else, stabilize it a little bit. Alright, let's move on to the cards that have gained value this week in Modern, and we'll begin with number 5, Karn Liberated. We haven't seen Karn for a while, but he's back with a vengeance, and that's just because, really, the Eldrazi Tron and the Tron decks are still really good. Modern Masters 2015 version up $2.59 to $66.48, with new Phyrexia going up $2.78 to $67.31. Coming in at number 4, I told you there's more to this story, Dark Confidant, Modern Masters 2015 version, going up $3.11 this week to $48.22. And like I said before, there are decks picking this up. This is still a Modern staple. Coming in number 3 is Street Wraith from Future Sight, up $3.76 to $13.75, another card that's played in Death Shadow builds. And this card really needs a reprint, quite honestly. This is an uncommon, and it was a common in Modern Masters. Coming in at number 2, Chalice of the Void from Meriden, up $4.95 this week to $74.14. This card just doesn't stop. Yes, it's seeing play everywhere. Vintage, Legacy, Modern. It's an awesome card, great sideboard card for a lot of purposes, of course. But I'm a little surprised the card has gotten to this price point. Now, honestly, if you look at big marketplaces, you can find this card cheaper. Like, check out your eBays, check out TCG Player. You will be able to pick up cards probably for like, I don't know, 60 to 70 relatively easily if you look hard enough. If you don't mind getting a slightly played one or something, you might even be able to find a little cheaper than that. However, just general market value of this card right now being this high just seems ridiculous to me, especially considering we have Iconic Masters as well as Masters 25 coming out in the next few months, really. I can't imagine this card won't see a reprint. So I think buyers are going to get a little nervous now this card is at this price point, and I do think it will start to snap back a little bit. Coming at number 1, Living End, up $5.89 to $27.97, and Living End decks are definitely gaining momentum and are doing pretty well in Modern. All right, let's move on to Legacy. Got some interesting ones this week. Let's look at the cards that lost value. Coming in number 5 is Unlimited Force Field, down $7.59 this week to $159.99. Coming in at number 4, Ali from Cairo from Arabian Nights, down $8.18 to $63.79. Now, you look at this card by today's standards, and it looks like a pretty bad card, right? But I'll tell you, back in the day, this card was special. It was a card that said basically you couldn't lose the game, at least not to damage, and you just never saw anything like that before in Magic. And players really loved this card and gravitated to it and collected it. It's an iconic part of Magic's history, even if it's not a great card. And it's on the reserve list. It's one of those Arabian Nights cards that is really near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. If you can find copies of this for $50, $60, I'd say pick it up. This is a card that has long-term potential, no doubt. Coming in at number 3, Singing Tree, down $14.29 to $34.90. Another good example of a reserve list Arabian Nights card that really feels like it should be hotter than it is. It had a little bit of a decline this week, but again, if you can find these things for $20, $30, $35, I'd pick them up. They have excellent long-term prospects. Coming in number 2, Sinbad from Arabian Nights, down $14.54 to $32.95. So this card spiked really hard last week. It looked like it was an obvious target of a buyout, and already it's coming back down, which is really no surprise. Unlike the other cards we looked at today, this is not a reserve list card. This has been reprinted. If you really want a copy, you can find cheaper copies. Yes, this probably does see a little bit of 93, 94 play here and there, but really the spike we saw last week was very unnatural. Coming in at number 1, Tropical Island from Unlimited, down $15.01 this week to $424.97. All right, let's look at the cards that have gained value this week. Coming in number 5, Underground Sea from Revised, up $17.70 to $349.73. Coming in number 2, Jihad is back on the list. This has been going up and down every other week, up $23.49 this week to $76.49. Number 3, Fork from Unlimited, up $24.26 to $63.93. Now, this is a reserve list card, but they did reprint it in Revised, so you can find a cheaper version of the card. Really good card for 93, 94 format. Just another one of those iconic Magic cards. Coming in at number 2, Shazam Jin, up $64.49 this week to $642.52. I feel like this has to be an all-time high for this card. Now, you want to talk about iconic Arabian Nights cards on the reserve list. This might be the iconic Arabian Nights card on the reserve list. Again, today's standards, you look at this card, it's not all that great. But during its time, this was a powerhouse card, and the art, the flavor, it just kind of hit all the right chords. And players to this day hold it close to their hearts, and you're seeing that in the value here. Now, I don't know if this is a mini buyout that's really driving the price. It's been going up the last couple weeks now pretty significantly. Usually this card sits around $500. Right now the price point closing in on $650. I don't think this can last. I do think we'll see a snapback here. It will probably get closer to $550 again before it does start to go up, I would imagine. But this is another card. If you can find a deal on it, it wouldn't be bad to have one in your collection. It's also a card that is a very good in 93, 94 format. And coming in at number 1, Arabian Nights all around today. Drop of Honey up $106.22 to $180. This obviously is a buyout. Now, it does see Legacy play in Lands decks sometimes, and we did see Lands decks do pretty good in some capacity at the GP this weekend. So, yeah, you know what? Maybe that's driving this a little bit, but this doesn't feel natural. I mean, this is just too much too fast. This has to be a buyout, and I'm a little surprised that it hasn't already been a target of a buyout. I mean, the card, if you can find these things for $60, $70, that would have been a good deal a week ago, right? That would have been a great deal. So I do feel like someone's taking advantage of that, but this is now definitely not a buyer's market for this card. So if you were thinking of picking it up, do not pick it up for $180 or $150. This will definitely snap back over the next few weeks. All right, having said that, those are the cards for today. Now, I don't know if we're going to get more previews, maybe some invocations or something during the GP coverage. If so, I'll definitely have some videos out throughout the weekend to update you. But if not, definitely on Monday, I know we're going to see some cards from Hour of Devastation, so we'll definitely have a video then. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.